Thanks again for joining me here on Ready Set Test, where today we are looking at an action cam. To be precise, the EKEN H9 action cam. Now there's a lot to speak about this camera, and a lot of the stuff is not very simple. So I will go through it one by one, or try my best to do so anyway. This is not an unboxing video, the video has already been taken out, but let's just look at the camera itself first. So for the purpose of that, I will take the box out. I just wanted to show you the box, that if you want to go for a similar looking camera, this is the kind of box that you're looking for, but this will be not a guarantee of authenticity as far as I can understand. On this one it says authentic H9, but these days it doesn't really matter much now, does it? So I'll put this box to the side and show you the camera. Now here is the camera in question. This is the EKEN H9, which, as it turns out, after I ordered it and opened it and looked into it on the internet, it turns out this one is the H9R. Now the R stands for remote, which means that this works with a little remote control. It wasn't in the pack, but I can buy one separately for about £4 or $3, whatever it is. Now, it also doesn't say Wi-Fi on the front, but it is Wi-Fi. It also says 4K on the front. And it does have 4K, but as I will find out later on, it's not very usable for all intents and purposes. So it comes in packed just like this in its rain box cover, waterproof cover. Now, I'm not much for going into water and stuff like this, so I will take this off. I don't think I'll be using this much, but the clasp is extremely strong and the seal is airtight, which is good news if you are going to take this into water. Let's look at the actual camera itself. Put the thing to the side. Plastic body, a bit of a rubber grip style feel to it at certain points, which is good, I believe. It says EKEN in here, 4K Ultra HD in here, but I have found out that there's all different kinds of things that could be said in here. There are versions that I've seen where it says 4K Ultra HD and a Wi-Fi sign in here, and there are versions that say completely something different. I think, on my personal opinion, is that this is one of those cameras where the software and the hardware is of the kind that a lot of different manufacturers have copied it and they're putting it into use. As long as you get a decent one, the quality is almost guaranteed if you're looking for the video footage. On the side, you have these two buttons. On the back, you have a nice 2-inch LED display, which is actually quite good. It's sharp enough. Right now, it's giving me an option saying no card. There is no micro SD card in it. Speaking of which, it goes into here, just here. There's your charging port and there's your HDMI out. Now on the top, one button. This is basically shutter, camera and mode select, and on the front is on off button right here. And that's about it. I mean, this follows a very famous and a very popular and a very mainstream form factor. By now you all know about this. It's a bit of a blatant shape copy if you ask me, but this is what the shape is. Right now, if you can see, it says 1080p 60 on the side, which is when it's recording in, and this is going to be more or less the staple for you. This is going to be the recording for most people. 1080p at 60 frames per second makes a very good video, acceptable video, and works quite well. The 2.7K is also usable because this comes with the latest firmware update where the 2.7K has a higher frame rate. If you keep pressing this button a few times until this little spanner appears, this will take us into settings, confirm it by the press up top, and then you go into video resolution, confirm it up top, and if you can see, 4K is 25 frames per second. This is after the software update. I did not do the update. It comes with the latest software already. The older softwares had 4K at around 15 frames per second, which was completely not usable. But now it's at 25 frames per second. This is still not very usable, so I will glance over that. But if you go into 2.7K at 30 frames per second, I have actually done a sample with that, and that is fairly usable. I will put, obviously, a sample of that at the end of the video. I know that's what you're waiting for. You want to actually see what the resolution is like. So at 2.7K, it's usable. 4K is more of an advertising gimmick. I wouldn't pay much attention to that. I don't want to go into more of the settings. What I want to show you is probably the meat of this thing. Now, before I go any further, I would say this, that For the last 5 or 6 years, in spite of the fact that I ride motorbikes and I fly RC aircraft, I have stayed out of the action camera crowd. I mean, everybody else caught on to it and they bought 2, 3 or 4 of them. But I've mostly stayed out of it. It's hard to believe that this is my first ever action camera that I've owned, in spite of the fact that I do some fairly, well, actiony things, if you were to go into that. But the reason was that I've never had much of a need for them to justify the price, and the prices have been very high. This thing in here, for what it represents, for what it has, for what it comes with, and for what it does, is mind-blowingly good. Now, after you see the video, at the end of this video, you will probably get angry with me and say that, well, it's not mind-blowing, there's nothing special about it. If anything, it's average to good at best. I agree with you on that one. The video footage might not be the best, and the sound is atrocious. The sound quality is not very good at all. But all of this, and when I say all of this, have a look at this. Now, number one, we will take the box. I will pull it out. Okay. And let me do a drop sack. All of this. Now, this is a spare battery. It was bought separately. Mount, Velcro straps, lanyards, zip ties, mount, back door, another mount, and obviously I've made a little combination mount in here for my motorcycle helmet. Mount, helmet mount with a lot of other mounts sticking on top of that. A travel charger, USB, and they even put in an adapter to adapt it to UK style plug or wherever it might use it. All of that, and then this. And all that for £34, which is around $44, $45. To keep it international, less than $50. Now, later on when you'd be watching the clips of the video that I made on this, whenever you're watching that, whenever you're going through it, all the quality issues that it has, keep in mind the less than $50 mark, and also keep in mind this pirate loot of stuff that it comes with. When you look at all this, it becomes truly phenomenal and mind-blowing, the quality that you get for the kind of money that you pay. As I said before, the sound is bad. The sound is atrocious. And generically, from what it comes in, it seems like it's been brightened. On a sunny day at 0 exposure, everything is washed out. Almost feels like a continuous nuclear explosion on the horizon. Everything is just washed out. But if you drop the exposure lower, it becomes better on a sunny day. At least you have the option to change this. It has a lot of nicks and knacks, but for what you get, for the price you get, it is truly phenomenal. Now, I obviously will get out of this video and put some clips at the end of it that I'll be using with 1080p 60, 1080p 30, 2.730 frames per second, and also some exposure changes just to give you an idea. But it's a purchase that I've done with my own money, and for what I know about this, it is a very wise purchase. Phenomenally good value for money. Now, if you're one of those people that is looking for perfection in their footage, this definitely isn't for you. But you will be spending at least 10 times as much to achieve that perfection. So, let me take you into the video footage, and you can see it with me, and hopefully after that you can make your mind whether you can buy this or not. Now, just to mention, this was bought from Banggood, but there's a lot of outlets out there that are selling this one at the moment. So, let's go to the clips.
Okay, it's a windy day here and doing the EKEN H9 test. This is a 1080 60 frames per second, 0.3 minus 0.3 exposure, and I'm trying to also do a little sound test. And now my face is about 5 inches away from the back of the camera, and I'm trying to speak as loud as I could. That should give you an idea of how the sound is going to work. If you don't hear anything, then that's what I'm expecting the most. Anyway, that's the sound test. Over.
So, you just saw the clips on the EKEN H9 out there in a very low sun and a misty environment. Most of the clips were 1080p 60, dialing up and down the exposure range to try to eliminate the little washout that we have on the horizon. And how it did, you'll obviously see in the videos for yourself. Obviously, in one of the clips, I left the sound as it was. It was a very windy day, and I tried to speak right behind it. From what I can see, it wasn't too bad. I called it atrocious before. I'm going to upgrade it to poor / average. It wasn't that bad, but don't expect it to do miracles. Sound is a weak point on this camera. The 2.7K and the 4K were the other two modes that we were checking. 2 clips at the end of the video for that as well. Please do check them out. The 2.7K at 30 frames per second after the update, I think, is very usable. The 4K is still a bit of a marketing gimmick. I wouldn't expect too much out of that. So just to reiterate this, if you are going to buy a new one, it'll come with the new version with the 30 frames per second 2.7K. But if you have an older EKEN H9, please do update it to the newer version, because the 2.7 really becomes usable. Apart from that, what else to say? The 170-degree wide-angle lens does have that very, very high amount of distorted fisheye effect, but when you are using it on a fixed-wing aircraft or something like this, I think it becomes more relative. The effect is very pronounced in the video, so you can decide for yourself. All of that brings us down to the very final part of this video. So how do I want to sum it up? I want to sum it out with 3 questions. Question number 3. Do you need an action cam? A lot of people get carried away with the whole action cam thing. If you are just going to film things standing up and you don't need to mount them on anything, most cell phones these days will make excellent videos. So probably you don't need an action cam. Question number 2. This action cam, particularly the EKEN H9 or any other cam that comes in this form factor carrying the same software, might be a completely different brand bought from a different website or different company. Is it any good? Well, it is. It is good, it does the job. Don't expect it to be perfect, don't expect it to do miracles, but it does the job quite well. And again, as I said, I've put the clips out there. They're raw clips, they haven't been changed or anything, so you can see the quality for yourself. So it's out there, it does the job, it's average to good. And question number 1, and probably the most important one, is it value for money? Should you buy one? Well, the answer to that, surprisingly enough, is yes. It is fantastic value for money. In fact, the best value for money gadget I have seen this year. I know it sounds counterproductive to say this, but it's one of those gadgets that you should buy even if you don't need one. just for the amount of stuff that it comes with and the fact that it makes it very, very expendable. Now, if I lose one of these or break one of these, I would not worry about it for the price that I've paid for it, and also it does the job that I need it to do. So, this was EKEN H9 4K Ultra HD, or any other variable names that it may have. This was bought from Banggood.com, but many other websites are selling them. So, have a check out at it. Thank you very much for staying with me on this video, and like and subscribe if you found this video useful. A little bit long, but I guess it'll be enough to make your decision about whether you need or want to buy one of these. See you or another one of my videos here on Ready Set Test. Thanks very much. Bye.